Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you for joining the session. So let us start. So welcome everyone to the Turno AI local session. Today we will be talking about what is Turno and what are the various products and primarily about the desktop. Okay, so I am Vagdevi. I'm working as a senior ML engineer with CloudxLab, and yeah, let us start. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Okay, so I will just give a brief introduction about today's speakers. So Sandeep Giri is our CEO, and Sachin is the head of product, and myself, I'm Vagdevi. I'm a senior ML engineer, and we also have Jay, who is a software engineer with us. Um, so let us start by knowing what is Turno AI. So Turno AI is basically our AI data scientist. Um, just a second. So, uh, you might have already known about ChatGPT, Claude, and all these things, right? So, similarly, Turno is especially skilled for the data science operations. So, it is just like our AI assistant beside us, which will help us do all the data science related workflows, ML analysis, and everything. So, how it works is it basically learns and understands our data um, based on the data sources that we connect to it automatically, and it primarily learns through the interactions that we make with it. So, Turno AI is basically used to instantly analyze enterprise data. It is especially built for enterprise data and also to get actionable insights by asking questions in plain English. So there does not need to be any technical person, like even if it is non-technical person that they wants to use their data in order to get deeper insights. That is where Turno is bridging the problem, because what is happening is when we have a lot of data with sales team, marketing team, or any domain expert per se, like any medical field domain expert or a doctor, or even the technical team for that matter, even if they are data scientists, the entire workflow is taking a lot of time to be built. So they have to be clear about their requirements. They need to dig deeper into the data. They need to understand everything by themselves manually. They need to code it. So this bridge is being built by Turno basically. So anyone who can just type their queries in plain English, that is the natural language, Turno will be able to take that language query, and it will further do all the data operations on the data that getting connected to, and it just gives the response in the desired format. So in order to be able for Turner to be able to answer our questions, it needs to connect to the data sources. So the data sources can be anything. They can be MCPs, they can be ERPs, they can be databases, data warehouses, data lakes, or even files of any format like CSV, images, JSON, and many more. So there is a lot varied range of horizon that Turno AI readily supports, no matter where the data is already located. We just need to establish a connection and ask our questions. Coming to the security part, especially, which Turno is very specific about, because since it is specially designed for the enterprises, security is our utmost priority. So we ensure the enterprise grade security with SQL Shield, and we also have some specific constraints on that, such as like giving only read only access, because we don't want to manipulate the data. and it is only doing the schema only analysis. And by this we mean that data is not sent anywhere. So data is not sent to any remote servers, data is not sent to any LLMs. So data is just there on premise, and only schema analysis will be done. And credential management is also supported by Turno, because many times when we want to connect our data sources to Turno, you might need external connections or the authorization tokens and all. So that credential management is also done in a very secure way. So basically, we can see that we also have the access control and encrypted connections, thereby ensuring everything is within a secure infrastructure. So, because of this read only access, schema only analysis, and virtual environment execution, we are also promoting that data will never leave the premises, and it is also isolated SOC2 compliant. So, further knowing about the Turno use cases, they can be of varied buckets. So, it is broadly used for various categories of data operations, like performing full analytics workflow, be it exploratory data analysis, where Turno will just jump into your data and give the broader and intrinsic ways of analyzing the data in an exploratory manners, creating visualizations, charts, tables, and whatever it is. And further, it is also used for uh, doing advanced ML operations. And also, it does the real time processing, and also it does the automated generations. So when a user has uploaded the files and gives a user question, Turno interacts with data streams and coding, and it generates the code, be it Python and SQL, and the executed code will return the results to Turno, and the Turno returns the answers to the user. So just like we see here, there are a lot of types of data sources, and the knowledge and security layer is also there. So now coming to Turner Desktop. Turno AI Desktop is basically your local AI assistant. So Turno also has the web version, which is managed on our own remote servers. But Turno AI Desktop is something which runs entirely on our local desktops. So it is powerful self-contained desktop applications that brings the intelligence of Turno AI directly to our machine. It is always accessible, as in we can just click on the app, and the app is right away for us to do everything. It ensures safe workspace because the app is
Uh,
ready bundled.
Hi, Bhakdevi. I think the screen which is shared is shows some dialog from the Zoom. Can you remove that?
What dialog is it showing?
It shows the meeting room, the pop-up, or you might
Um,
just share a particular window.
no, I shared entire screen. Let me share it
Yeah, I
again.
mean the yeah, because the entire screen was shared, that pop-up was also visible.
Okay, I will share only one tab.
Mhm.
Is it okay now?
Yes, perfect.
Thank you. Okay, so Turner Desktop comes with a full bundle. So there is no need to worry about the safety of your own file system, because whatever the tools it is using, it is coming with the readily bundled required binaries, and it is ensuring safety in that way. The data handling is very secure, just like we discussed. It is just the local version of the entire Turno architecture, and it executes complex queries on data, and the reasoning is also happening locally. Like the data will never leave the premises, basically. So there are no data privacy concerns as well, which is the utmost privacy concern by enterprises generally. And also it has a seamless integration because it is built on the modern desktop technologies to deliver a very seamless and native experience for both Mac and Windows. Let us just understand why enterprises like desktop app. In reality, enterprises are considerate about their security in the first place. And also, their databases are internal, and internal databases are not usually publicly accessible. So, the data sharing is very restricted, and it is very important for them that the data is like the restricted to the company LAN, and also there are VPN connected systems. So these strict security policies don't allow the external apps to access the internal databases, and data leaving the network boundary and firewall openings and public exposure also are of the major concern for the enterprises. And that is a problem with the web apps. So when we want to use the web apps, they need public accessibility for the data that is being exposed, which is not the case with enterprises usually. So the web apps usually sit on the remote servers, and the cloud tools sit outside the network, and this requires exposing the databases or creating tunnels. This violates the compliance and security policies. So even the most secure cloud tools will fail for this reason, because they sit outside the enterprise network boundary. And that is exactly the reason we have come up with Turno Desktop. So we bring AI to where the data lives, rather than forcing the enterprises to do it other way around. So Turno AI Desktop is built for enterprise network constraints. Instead of forcing enterprises to change their security model, we changed our model where Turno runs. It is just running in the same enterprise network, just like shown in this picture. So everything is connected within the same VPN, and the connection is seamless and worth doing. So, how it works? So, it directly runs on the user laptop or user machine, and the laptop is already connected to the VPN or it is inside the enterprise network. So, Turno can access the internal databases directly and perform analysis locally, so that the data is never exposed externally. And the exact benefits for this kind of working model is that no data leaves the system, and no need to modify the firewall or infra configurations. And it is fully compliant with enterprise policies, and it works seamlessly within VPN environments. So Turner Desktop works because it runs inside the enterprise network, just like every one of us. Coming to the use cases of Turner Desktop, it generates the reporting and visualization. So basically, we are just a one click away just to start the app from our local, and instantly generate the charts, graphs, tables, and whatever it is based on the data, just by simply asking the questions in plain English on all time available local data scientist. And it can also connect to the local databases. For example, in our machine there is a local database running, which we will shortly see in the demonstration. We can directly connect that to our Turno Desktop application, so that we can just use the app to directly talk to the data which is running on our local machine. So there are also other ways Turno is offered. I just like to give you a one-line introduction. So there are various offerings of Turno AI, like the web version, which is the SaaS, and it runs on the web servers. The AMI version, which runs on your own AWS VPC that you can configure for yourself for your enterprise, and the desktop app, which runs completely on your own desktop. There are also other integrations where Turno can be accessed via threads like Slack and Teams. So if you want to download the apps, you can directly go into our website and just download it from there. So I would just love to show you that. One second. So this is where every one of you can download it. I'm just pasting it in the chat. So be it Microsoft or Mac, you can directly download it. It is also available in the Microsoft now. So there is also a demonstration about how to install it on the Turner desktop, and you can also explore various other offerings of desktop. So sorry, Turner. So we have Slack, where we have given the guide, and we also have the Teams guide, how to connect Turner AI to Teams. And there is also a post about how to deploy it on AWS infrastructure as well. So please feel free to explore all these things. Okay, 1 second. So before I go to the demonstration, if we have any questions, you can just ask it here. Yes, Arun?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for a great presentation. Yeah, I see you have support for AWS. Do you, or so two parts of the question. Do you support other AWS services as part of your support of AWS, or is it just from a runtime and security perspective? That's kind of question A. And B, do you see yourself having Microsoft, Foundry IQ support coming, at a later date, or is that part of your product roadmap? Hopefully that made sense.
So basically, we provide the AMI image for Turno, and that is how we usually deploy our product there. And we are also working on the GCP and Azure versions as well. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, so that's the AMI image, but I'm wondering with integration like connectors and like are you going to have more robust support of AWS AI services and let's say Foundry IQ AI services so that
Yeah.
you act as this there's not really a term for this yet because it's not really MCP, but we'll just use old world terms like an integration hub, like an AI integration hub. That's kind of how I'm thinking of it. That's not probably what your product people would want to call it, but in my mind, that's how I'm sort of thinking of it. Does that make sense or no?
Yeah, yeah. So coming to the connectors part, we are definitely working on it. We are also trying to make connectors for the Google Analytics and various other
Okay.
tools like Meta Ads and Google Ads, everything. And for your specific use case, if you have anything in mind, we would love to connect with you.
Okay.
Uh,
Great. Great. No, thank you. I'll let you get back to the demo. So thank you so much for answering.
Right. Thank you, Devi, for the presentation. Think, yeah, that was it.
okay.
Do anyone have any more questions? They can proceed with the questions. So either me, Devi, or anyone from the team can take it. Did you guys find it useful?
Uh, I think I can start demonstrating. Then I think everyone will get a better view.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
So I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so basically this is how it looks like. Just a second, let me show the app also. So I'm just sharing my entire screen for a better visibility. Please let me know if there is any issue. So this is how basically Turno AI works. The app UI looks like. So you can just download it from the provided link, and it will start booting the app. And once the app booting is done, we will see this open Turno AI. So when we click on this, we will be able to see this UI. And I will just give a brief intro about the UI. So here is where we can see the entire chat history, just like anything else. And this is where we add our data sources. So I shall start by showing you how the data sources look like. So when I click on the add data sources, I can see a lot of configurations supported, like MySQL, Snowflake, and everything. So if I click on MySQL, there are two things that we can check: the standard setup and the connection URL. So if you have a connection string directly, you can just give it here. Or if you just want to go by the username password manually, you can do that as well here. So firstly, I would like to show you how I made a connection with my local MySQL server, which is running on my laptop. So this is my MySQL local, which is running. So I just connected to my Brew MySQL services, which is running on my laptop, and I'm using the database, which is called World. Okay, so basically, I'm trying to make operations on this database. I'm showing this because it will give you a better understanding of what is going on. So the same exact things that I'm doing here manually, like show tables and select top 5 rows from the table called city and all. For this, I need to know the SQL and all. So this is limited to the technical persons, that they need to know the data language or the coding language like Python and everything. So all this is not really needed when we are able to use Turno. So what we do is we can quickly go to the connection URL and just paste the connection URL there. Or if you have your username, password, host, everything, you can directly connect them here. So that is how I have connected them here. So I can also just show you how it looks like. So I can give my uh, database name, which is the display name here. And for my database that I have shown to you here, which is running on my local, the username is world user. Okay, so these are all the pre-configurations. For example, if you would like to use it for your enterprise, you might want to get these details from your administrator. And the password is uh, the password of the database, and the host is the local host because it is running right in my laptop, and the port is 3306 is where it is running, and the database name is this one, the world database. So it is this. So once I add the connection, it will be able to establish the connection with the database here. So while this is happening, what internally happens is that we analyze the schema, we generate a knowledge layer over your data source, and that is how we further process based on the queries that you give, and also the metadata knowledge that we have gotten when you're establishing a connection with your data source. So you really don't need to worry about your data leaving your premises, or if it is being sent to LLMs or internet or something. So that is not what is happening. So we can clearly see that the world database has 3 tables here: city, country, and country language. So this is just like an overview of our tables and the column types and column names, everything, right? Um, so I can just ask Turno, what are all the list of data sources here? It will perform its thinking in a chain of thought manner, like it keeps thinking until it arrives at a solution. So if you see, it is generating the code by itself, and it answers its questions by execution based on the data. And that is how the hallucinations are also reduced, because everything is operated based on the calculations performed on the data. And finally, it will give the answers like this. So since we have this database, I just wanted to demonstrate how we can just use it. So I asked it a question to depict the distribution of languages across countries in the world. So when I gave it this question, it was thinking like its first thought is like explore the world database, because it knows that such a world database exists. It will identify the schema, it will come up with a plan of execution, and it also gets the relevant skills. So Basically, it uses skills for majorly for optimization purposes, so that the token consumption is optimized, and also the hallucinations will be reduced when the agent is working. And when it has done its work through all the steps, it will come up with the final answer like this here. So it will just compute um, the query on the database, and it gives it in a nice tabular fashion, so that even non-technical persons can simply perceive what the data is trying to tell to us. And the beautiful part is it will also generate the visualizations wherever needed, right? Or these are also interactive, and you can directly download them as well. So based on the question and based on the analysis that we are trying to do, it will come up with the relevant type of depicting that data in the form of visualizations like this. And we can also directly download the files here. And whatever the files are generated during the analysis, it will be present in this folders in the output section in today's date. So if I have to just show you like this, it will directly show and download. So this is the preview of the visualizations. And similarly, I also asked it like show top 5 rows from each table. So the SQL equivalent is that I would need to write the same SQL query, and I would need to know the language, whereas here I can just chat with it and get every information right at the tips of my fingers. And I would also like to show you about the MCPs. So here for the demonstration purpose, I took the Kaggle MCP. So Kaggle MCP is basically providing us a way to connect with the Kaggle resources, where we can find a way to interact with the sources which are present on the Kaggle servers. So I just adopted the same configurations that were given to me on the documentations page, just like this. And I tried to connect it to my app. So if you see here, I have connected my app to two of the MCP servers, the Google Analytics MCP and Kaggle. So if I just open it, I can see the configurations here, right? So for example, I just asked it like list top 10 notebooks from Kaggle, which are related to sports domain. So it made a call to the tool which is provided by the Kaggle MCP, which is the search notebooks, right? So it is basically able to use the tools which are provided by the remote third-party providers as well. And finally, it will give us the answers like this. And I can also ask it to save the results as CSV, and it will do that for me. And the most important thing, especially for the enterprises, is to be able to understand about their customers' footprint and various other analytics related to their business. So that is exactly done by the this thing, Google Analytics MCP. I just tried to connect my Analytics MCP based on the official documentation given by Google Analytics. So this is the GitHub repository of theirs, and I just followed these steps in order for me to configure that MCP to Turno. One second. So this is the basic MCP configuration that I have used. So I just simply followed the same README here given, and I tried to connect connect it, and I can also test it soon after it is established. And after that, I tried to make the queries. So I can just ask like describe the available events from Google Analytics. So basically, Google Analytics is providing something called events, where I can get a view about the page view, where the session starts, the first visit, and the engagement things like the user engagement, the scroll engagement, and the leads and form activity data, and interactions and downloads. And it will give us a clear picture about the file downloads, form submits, and everything which is present on my website. So it is also giving me a clear understanding about various parameters involved that is being tracked by Google Analytics, about the numbers as well. So all this is possible because I was able to communicate to the Google Analytics MCP server. And then I asked it to give more information about the distribution of the form submit in the form of visualizations. So similarly, it is trying to go for the form submit. So here, if we see, we have something called form submit, right? That is the event name, and it says that the count is 711, and 441 are active users, and this is what is happening. So I wanted to dig deeper into that particular event, and it shows that there are these many number of events, and these are the active users, and these are the form start events, and how many people ended up actually using it. uh, in order for us to be even more clearer, it also provided some beautiful visualizations like this. So out of all the events, it is saying that the form submit stands here, and it has a share of 4.58 out of all the events. And there is also a very useful funnel analysis where people who start the form are 1054, whereas the people who are able to submit it finally are only 711. So there is a gap of the users dropping in between. And these are the exact things, visualizations that we can readily get by using Turno. So I asked it further to depict the user progression through the key steps, and it has done the same thing through this visualization. So when people visit, their session is started, and they start to view the page, and some of them go to the form start as well, but only a few members are able to submit it. So this data is based on the last 90 days, right? So if I want to analyze based on the last week or last year also, that is fine. So these are all the various types of analysis that it has given me. So if I'm not able to understand some of the technicalities that it has given, I can already ask it, like, can you describe this funnel analysis in terms of business POE? So it also gives me a beautiful representation of what has actually happened, and what is the user traversal across these stages, and what might be the suitable next step in order to do these things. um, I would also like to show you where the environment variables can be configured. For example, if you are using some API and it needs some credentials to be saved or given, you can just give it a name here, and you can add the value here. You can enable or disable it in order for you to restrict the access whenever you are working on different chats. And this is the MCP connectors, and yeah. Um, so that's it from my end. Any other questions? Okay, there is a question from Gopal Ram. Is this event pertain to your website or just a simple database from Google Analytics? So we created a demo website, and we configured it with Google Analytics for the demonstration purpose for over the last few months. And based on that, I was able to give these things to you. Thank you. This is a good demo. Thank you, Arun. Okay. So today we also have Jay with us. He will also be showing the use cases about Turno. Jay, please go ahead. Jay, are you there? Just a
Hello there.
second.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there. I'm just sharing my screen for that demo part.
Okay.
Hi everyone. I'm Jajit Trivedi. They are on the CloudxLab as a software engineer. Today I am sharing our case study regarding that Turno AI uses. So today we are sharing that weekend versus, oh, sorry for that. We are sharing the case study of that customer segmentation and active insights there. So in that, we are sharing that from how raw data to complete analysis Turno does for us. So without you are having any knowledge about that coding steps and all. For that, we have passed a CSV file there to the Turno, and we have simply requested a prompt to explore the data and summarize it. No, basically helps as an analyst, as we have a data of over 2,000 customers there. We want to know who are our real customers and who are likely to the churn to the business, and on which we should spend money on the future to targeting them for our future sales. So their Turno gives us the fields. Basically, Turno provides us the field and discover all the fields there. And Turno provides us that we have the missing data here, and provide that the data is basically divided on basis of demographics, income and tenure, and other major points which are available on the data set. Then we have passed another prompt here that to the Turno, can we segment the customer data based on their spending habits and demographic features? On this, the Turno stands out from the other AI chatbots, as it is not a AI chatbot, it is where it outperforms the others. Here, the Turno shows that a k-means clustering there, so on which the Turno divides it into the different segments. For the segment 0, we can see that there are the major
Wait,
volume.
1 second.
Yeah,
There is a request from Rudy. Can you please make the screen bigger?
is that now good?
Rudy, is that fine for you? Yeah, I think you can go ahead.
Yeah. For there, the customer segment is divided into the 4 groups. There you can see the turnover divided into the major volume there, but you can see that major spending is done by the second segment group. So we got our, so where we can target more customers there. So further we goes there, the turnover provides us that visualization charts there, so we can look into it. And further there we have asked the turnover, how does customer income and the presence of children correlate with spending across different products categories. So there the turnover divides these clusters into the business meanings. So turnover will look on those cluster and divide it into the business analytics part. So their turnover gives the result that customers with higher incomes are able to basically divide their incomes to the spendings on the rest of the products there. And the people who are having children in their homes are spending less on the wines part and the others. So this gives a overall feature of the turnover to divide these cluster into the business meanings. Now further we are able to see that another prompt which is how demographics groups have the highest recency and are there at the risk of churning. So basically Turno is asking the groups why these are demographic groups are the prone to that churning part or not. So their Turno provides the customer valuable part there. On the further, we have seen the prompt, is there a difference in purchase channel references? Like if I am promoting myself on the web or catalog, so Turno gives there on like the people with education are more on the web part rather than the persons with have the lower education levels are basically prefer stores there. So by these business meanings, we can target our audience accordingly. So on the further, we have that what customer characteristics are the best predictors of campaign acceptance. Now there we are not manually getting these correlations there that user, like I am the user, I don't need to know how the stats work. I just need to know that what I want to take from the turnover. So just I am asking how the customer characteristics are the best predictors of campaign acceptance. So there the turnover provides me result predicting that the customer total spending major is majorly impacted by their income and residency. Like if I run a campaign there, so how can we predict who's the major we are getting from the our campaign? The further prompt I ask from the turnover, can we predict our customers' total spending based on their features at the time of the sign up? There comes the wow moment for our turnover that it is not describing further, it is predicting how the customers going to spend at the time of sign up on basis of their demographic, their kid at home, and their income level. So from these information, we are predicting future purchasing behavior of the customer. So there, the turnover is using that random forest method with a accuracy around 74%, 74% there. So that the Turno gives us a result that the major strongest predictor at sign up was that the income of the person there. So how much they can able to the spend to the products. So this gives the Turno. Turno gives us the basic overview how people are going to spend on the website, basic of their income and education and all the major factors dependent on it. Further, we have that how the distribution of purchasing frequency across different customer segments. So the customer segments we are here with that the num deal purchases and web purchases, catalog and the store purchases there. So the group we have divided into four. We can see that there are all the purchases referring to the store, web and catalog type. And further, we go to the now to plot a ACF and derive natural language insights from it. So there, other than marketing, the Turno is also focusing on customer acquisition. From there, we can see that Turno have given us the machine learning statistics and time series graphs there. So we can predict whether the customers are with us or how their short, like our season will affect the other months sales also, or that annual season peak comes on which month. So we are able to predict on basis of our previous data. And further, I have asked the turnout to give all these chart into a PowerPoint presentation so I can able to give I have I am able to give this as an insight to my presentation. So Turno basically provide me that presentation there, and I can simply download any of these file that Turno generated by clicking on it, and I am able to get this file there on my local. So this is the Turno case study there. So that the chat summary there that the Those CSV we have passed has contained around 2,240 customers, and we have applied that K-means clustering to clusters are grouped into four. And also we have used that random forest methods, and also further we have analyzed the person sales or purchase according to their income, their presence of their childs, and how their demographics are affecting their purchases and all. So in overall, Turno provides me and covers the entire analytics life cycle there. So from this, we can see that Turno can be very useful for our business insights. So that's all from my end. Is there any question regarding it? Vagdevi, you are muted.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. So I hope everyone of us is clear about Turno. We are happy to take any other questions. Okay, I hope everyone is clear. Okay. Viraj has some question.
Hi, Sandeep,
Hi.
and Terno AI desktop applications sales team. So my question is, if like, what is the CPU or configurations that is needed in a system in order to set up the Terno AI and have its functionality optimized whenever I do some analytics?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, we have two offerings for the desktop app. It is the the Windows version and the Mac version. So for Mac, I would suggest having at least 8 GB of RAM and the disk of at least 16 GB for app to work. So if you just want to download the DMG, it needs 4.5 GB, and it is just like Docker desktop. And as you run and as you generate more and more data, it might expand as well. But these are the minimum configurations. And coming to the Microsoft um, partner center thing, um, so basically it will work for Windows 10 and 11, and the recommended RAM is similarly 8 GB, and yeah, disk also is about 15 GB for the entire this thing. Um, I think there was some issue. Hmm. So these are the things, like its approximate size is 2.1, and the system configurations are basically listed here. Um, I hope this answered, Hiraj.
Yeah. And additionally, I think there was one more question from Hiraj, which is if Turno AI desktop is utilizes a locally hosted LLM, or will it anyway get connected to a private cloud LLM? So, to answer that, it can be configured manually. Okay, whatever LLM you want to utilize, you can utilize. And eventually, yes, it goes. We are not hosting our own LLM because ideally it doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, every commercial LLM outperforms the open source one, right? And when it comes to the data science and data analytics part, what we want is more accuracy. We do not want to risk the accuracy by utilizing the open source LLM. But if you want to host your own LLM and use our agent, that is a custom requirement which you can reach out to us, and we can look forward to it. But again, to answer the question in simple terms, yes, Turno utilizes the cloud hosted LLM. Currently, it utilizes by default the OpenAI, this one, version 5, what do you call it? GPT-5, right? Or you can change it from the settings, which LLM you want to use. There are a number of commercial LLMs available. I think you are on mute. If Hiraj, you want to say something. Hmm. All right, we can move ahead with more questions and whatever is left.
So if it is connected to OpenAI and other public LLMs on paid basis, then my sensitive informations and data, how it can be guaranteed that no any internal data goes out of my network?
So the thing is that the data does not go to the LLM. Which goes to the LLM is your schema. When, for example, if Eterno is basically a primary tool to do the data analytics and data science work, right? And for that, the most private thing is your data. The schema, the schema is kind of shareable, and for that, like if you want to if you do not want to share your exact schema, then what you can do is you can utilize SQL Shield to rename your tables and columns and put some privacy on that. If you do not want to share a particular section of the schema, some columns or some tables, right, you can do that. The data is never shared to the LLM. The schema is shared to generate the query, and that query, that Python code is executed on your desktop, right? And then the desktop get the result and present it on your machine, right? Your Turno app basically launches a sandbox behind the scene, and every code is executing inside that private sandbox.
Yeah. So
Getting?
can we say that this Turner AI desktop app as a AI agent that does analytics on database and with a secure sandboxing? Can I say that?
Yes, you can say that. Yes, you can say that. But
Okay. Yep.
this
Yeah.
this this agent is this agent comes with a lot of feedback and security and accuracy. It is not simply answering your question, but again validating the question. It keeps on improving, it keeps on validating and generating the queries again and again until it reaches the correct one, okay, by itself. And if it requires any user intervention, for example, if I take any example of let's say one of our client. So when they were calculating the revenue, they had like multiple channels of the revenue. For example, there were clients who were paying in a particular currency in a with a particular gateway, and there were clients who were paying in a different currency and utilizing a different payment gateway, because all of these things depend country wise, right? You cannot accept every currency in every current country. So while calculating the overall revenue, it requires a lot of conversion. Now there might be some tribal knowledge related to it, how we are pricing in each currency. For that, what Turno agent would do, it will ask you, it will prompt you in between, and then it would save that knowledge for forever. So that particular knowledge is what utilized by LLMs. That is what is being shared, but not your data. Again.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the question. What the LLM based tensor AI build or turn AI build on? It's not built on a particular LLM, Gopal. It can utilize multiple LLMs. Currently, by default, it utilizes GPT-5, and if you want to change it, you can change it. Do you have a third-party review and rating of Turn AI? Third party. So I think there is a landing page on the website where you can find which all guidelines it adhere to. Anyone can share in the chat. J. Vagdevi. Uh, is it using RAG as well? Yeah, you can upload your documents and you can get answers on it. Sahil Saini, please unmute me. How to unmute? Can anyone unmute Sahil?
Can you check, Sahil?
Hey Lily, yeah, it is subscription based. The Turner desktop is free if you want to utilize your own LLM. You can configure that. But yes, if you want to use our SaaS, our hosted one, you'll have to get a subscription for that. Do we have a real-time use cases used currently? We cannot show you the partner data, but if you are asking about if we have any customers, business customers, yes, we do have business customers. In India, Zydus Wellness is utilizing. Then there are some more company. I think DealShare is there, and a few ones which I know personally. Then there are people who are utilizing our SaaS. For example, the bigger players like Zydus, they basically host it on their machine as well. So as um we explained earlier in the webinar that the AMIs are available where so you can host your own Turno instance on your virtual machine as well for your company. I don't have much idea about the Alteryx. I think Alteryx is again it's a tool, but as far I remember, Alteryx earlier used to and I don't have much idea what they are doing right now, but earlier it was a lot of rule based analysis. Basically you connect here and there, but unlike Alteryx, Turno utilizes a chat interface where you don't have to do a lot of work but just ask questions by connecting your data. The rest of the thing is taken care by the Turno agent. Sending this as per the okay, sorry agent. All right. Is your chat provide suggestions? Yes, yes. It provides suggestions. After every chat completion, it gives a suggestion on what next can be done. Actual mechanism behind SQL Shield. Okay, okay. Uh, you can consider it as a very mature parser, and there are a lot of rules which basically protect your data, protect your actual schema to be exposed by the LLM. Because see, if let's say if let's say if I talk about a company and there are a number of people, and let's say the data is not supposed to be shared across all of the team members and only with the senior ones, then how would you protect it? You would protect it using the rules. Now, if you only utilizes LLM and for example, in your instructions, in your organization instructions, even if you strictly say that do not expose this data to this department people, that can be overruled by the more stricter prompt. But to prevent that, there are a number of rules in the SQL Shield, and there are parsers in the SQL Shield, which basically helps to translate and take care of the query, right? And utilizes the alias name for the schema. Uh, so yeah, it is mostly the combination of all of these things. Create mechanism behind it. Actually, okay, are local queries saved anywhere on the disk? And are those files encrypted? I did not get the question, Sahil. What do you mean by local queries? Everything is actually shared. If you are utilizing the desktop version, everything is saved on your machine. Everything is saved on your machine. All of the chat history, all of the prompts, basically all of the queries as well, they are being tagged as the code. They are being tagged as the code block, and you can see that in your chat history, and in some, for example, if you want to look back into your memory, your account's memory, that also you can do. Turn have memories and other things so that it can be personalized. Those files encrypted, which files are you talking about? If you can explain me a little, if you can give me a little more detail about it. Is this like Postgres or ls or Databricks style column mask? I have no idea about it. It is completely written by the team, and we did not take any inspiration from any of the tool so far. Even locally, does it write temp files, create indexes, or cache data on the disk? Can those be controlled? Example, encrypted temporary storage 5 on exit. Yes, yes. It does not write any temporary files as such. Uh, I mean, all of these files are being saved on your disk if it is the desktop version you are utilizing. And you can delete that anytime. You can manage your workspace directory by yourself. And if you want to delete any files, yes, you can delete. But yes, currently there is no wipe on exit. There is no wipe on exit as such, because everything is again on your system, so you can delete it anytime. It seems SQL Sheet uses this general pattern, table, column, row level masking plus read-only access is a standard practice in modern data governance. Yes. If you only talk about the basic thing, yes, but there are much more proprietary things into this. Just a second to have RBAC over the generated analytics. Generated analytics, and I may need to access clients IAM tool like AD in order to implement. Just a second. Okay, AD is Azure ID. Okay, in order to implement you should be allowed
So
to unmute here.
yeah, okay. I just want to clarify this question. So for example, you said that the generated analytics that
Mm-hmm.
the employees in the client in the organizations ask query, sometimes the informations can be very sensitive. So for this user, we're gonna have some airbag control depending on their roles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in order to implement those access control over specific employees because of their role, to Turno AI Desktop has to access to client's IAM model, right? Okay, for this administrator, these are the
All right, got your question.
yeah, yeah, okay,
So
yeah,
see,
thank you.
currently it does not utilize your existing IAM. Basically, we have our own interface where you can create the groups, and you can so if anyone can give the overview of RBAC, that would be great, Vagdevi or Jay. Uh, Basically, what happens is that we have our own interface where you select which group have the cannot have the access of which data. So what you ideally do is that you select a group, and group have all of these members associated with it, and that particular group can have this for example, this mapping of group, table, and the filter string. So the filter string is basically it's kind of a regex. So based on a rule, for example, if I take an example of, let's say, HR data. So in HR data, there is this table called salaries, and you do not want anyone except the HR department or accounts department to look at it. All right. So you define a rule. You'll create a group, and you will invite your members according to the group. For example, you will invite your accounts team member and assign the group accounts. Then you go to the RBAC, you select that group accounts, and in the rule, you mention that this table is private to that group. Okay. And for example, let's say if you want to add RBAC, let's say phone email IDs. So the people should be allowed only to see email IDs of their team members, right? So what you can do is you can define a rule that uh, you can define a rule that the employee who is querying their email ID, like we check their email ID, you can simply write a where clause for that. Where user is equals to this should only be allowed to look at the rows if the user's department matches to the query department. All right. So these type of query clauses you can write in the RBAC, and SQL Shield takes care of that clause. Basically, that parses it and modify your SQL accordingly. I hope I was able to answer that question. The run locally claim. Hey Hiraj, alright. I hope I was able to answer your question. Anyways, on the run locally claim, what's actually run locally versus what's a hosted service you are connecting to? Okay, so everything you connect your data sources or you set up your account, that happens locally. But when it comes to generate the code, so what happens, that limited information, for example, your question, and let's say you connected a schema, you connected a data source. For that, the schema will be shared to the LLM. Okay, the schema will be shared to the LLM, and along with the prompt, along with our agent's prompt, that this is what you need to do, that will be shared to the LLM, that goes to the service. Okay. And then that will result a response in the form of markdown or something else, right? So that again will be translated locally on your machine, and we will grab the code block out of it, the observations out of it, and if there is any code block generated by the LLM, that will be executed on your desktop machine again in a sandbox. Okay, it's like a sandbox is basically a Docker container, you can say, right? That is again on your machine. So only the prompt goes to the LLM, and that prompt might contain your schema based on the question. Basically, recreate the permission matrix. Yes, 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 Hiraj. If I'm pronouncing, I hope I am pronouncing your name correct. Girja, could you please share the context? Girja, the recording would be available, and you can go through it. This is about to end, so it is difficult to give the context of the whole hour. But in short, I would say that the Turno AI is a tool which you can utilize to do data analysis and data science work, and using the natural language. in the form of a chat interface with a lot of privacy and security taken care of. And the more detail, I think you can go through the website or you can watch the recording again. Right. What happens with no internet access? Does it degrade gracefully or stop working entirely? Uh, I think in case of no internet, it just gets stuck there, and then when the internet is back, you can click on the retry button, and then again it just continue its work. So what resume does is, for example, if you are conversing with any of the LLM, so what happens that you send a request to the LLM, right? Now that request is already sent, the content is being generated, but when it is coming back to you, when it is streaming back to your machine, let's say the internet got disconnected. So what would happen in that case? The content is already either the content is already streamed back, or the service detects that the client is not reachable, so they stop responding. So what happens in that case? You will be thrown an error that there is some issue with the connectivity, and there will be a retry button. Okay, when you click on the retry button, what happens that it gives the whole context, whatever happened in that chat, again to the LLM in a new request, and then LLM respond back accordingly. But if the work is being done on your local machine, then it does not harm that. Uh, for example, the code execution, etc., that is happening on your machine. So if you lose the internet during that time, the tool would not throw any error. It would only throw an error when we are communicating with the LLM. Either we are sending the prompt, or we are receiving the result.
Okay, I think how do we how do they handle audit logging? Can you say exactly what SQL is generated? Yes, yes. So in the show thinking, we see the entire code generated and SQL being executed. So if it touches databases, dashboards, SQL BI, how does it connect? Read-only SQL user extracts to local files. Uh, I think I'm not very clear with this question.
So how do they handle audit logging? This is answered, right?
Hmm. So there is Rudy's question.
If it
She
touches
says,
database slash dashboards SQL BI, how does it connect? Read only SQL user, extract to local files, live querying, or something else? So when it comes to it, what you do ideally is that wherever your data source is hosted, you get you create a read-only credential, and then you connect to any of the tool, right? Because you do not want to, matlab, this is not limited to the turno. Ideally, we are making sure that 100% that our tool would not write. uh, But again, from your point of view as well, you should make sure that you only give read-only access. So you give the read-only access, you create that string, you paste that string, you paste that credential in your add data source connector screen. Then what happens? How does it connect? Read-only SQL user. No, it does not extract anything. It just look at the schema and create the same schema copy on your machine. On your machine, that database lives in your machine. Okay. Only for the schema. It does not fetch any data. And when it comes to the query, yes, it queries directly on the connected server. So yes, you'll have to keep that string alive. You will have to keep that token alive. So whenever the code comes and that code requires to query some data from your actual data source, then again it will have to execute that on your machine. When I say on your machine, here I'm talking about where your data source is hosted. All right. All right. Any more questions? Okay, I'll take the pause as of now. And if there are any more questions, you can always drop us an email at reachus@turner.ai, and my email is sachin@turner.ai, or you can ping anyone else from the team as well with the first name at turner.ai or first name at cloudxlab.com. And yeah, I think we can conclude the meeting today. Right. Thank you, Vagdevi, for the presentation. Thank you, Jay, for the demo. Right.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for the good set of questions as well. Have a good day. Bye.